everyone! Today I want to share a list that I've been making on my phone for a while now, and I want to just talk to you about some products that seem to be very overhyped and are some people's holy grail products but that I have yet to try, and I want to just tell you why I haven't tried those yet and whether or not I want to, so let's get into the video. So the first thing on my list is something that might just be like a YouTube thing, but this is the Laneige lip sleeping mask. I hear so many people talking about these. I think it's Jay Kissa who keeps going on and on and on about how great this product is, but for me, spending money on something like a lip sleeping mask just seems like a little bit of a waste. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty okay with just using a lip balm, and that's usually what I use, and it's fine. I also don't really take that good care of my lips, I'm not gonna lie. I do use some lip scrubs from time to time, but for the most part, I'm not really one to baby my lips, so this product is just not really something that speaks to me, so let me know if you have tried this and if it's actually worth the hype. The next thing on my list is an item that I feel like most people in the beauty community has, and this is the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia. Now, it is a beautiful palette, but I personally, this is just me, if you love this palette, please don't hate me, but I feel like this is not a very versatile palette. You can only do so many looks with this. I mean, yes, there's a couple of variations of browns and pinks and purples, and I don't even know, I don't have this palette, but for me, it just seems a little bit like you can only get 3 or 4 different looks out of it, and it's just a little bit boring to me. I'm sure the formula is great, but this is not something that I really have any interest in picking up, even if people say it's their holy grail palette, because for me, I just know it wouldn't be. Now the next item on my list is something that I'm for sure going to try at some point, and this is the Fenty foundation. I've heard so many great things about this foundation, and a lot of people say that the Maybelline Fit Me is a dupe for that, and that foundation is one of my all-time favorites. Like, I love that foundation, and every time in the summer it's my go-to because it doesn't break up on me, it lasts all day, even when I'm sweating like a pig, and I just love that. So I really do want to try that foundation at some point, and I feel like it would be right up my alley because I do have pretty oily skin, and everything about that foundation just seems like it would work for me. So I really don't even know why I haven't picked that one up yet, but I'm super intrigued and I will for sure try that foundation at some point. Next up is 2 mascaras that I feel like maybe they're not that overhyped, but when they did release, there was a lot of hype around them. And this is the Kush mascara by Milk and also the Hourglass, what was that called? Caution mascara. Both of those had a lot of advertisement around them, and I always saw all of the big beauty gurus getting this sent to them in PR, and they all seem to love them. But again, I have my Bad Gal Bang, and I love this so much that I picked up 4 of them recently because it was half off, and I just don't see myself really switching to another mascara anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by those. Let me know down below if you've tried any of them or both and how they stack up to this. If you have tried this, I would love to know and hear like a comparison between the 3 because I have heard that they are both really good. Next on my list, I have 3 blushes that I want to talk about because I feel like these are the blushes that are the most talked about. And let me just start off with the most obvious one, and this is Norris Orgasm. I don't know why I have not tried this blush. For some reason, I am one of those few people who haven't gotten a sample of that from Sephora when ordering other stuff, and I don't know, I just don't really feel like picking it up. I feel like it's just a little bit too overhyped, and maybe it's just talked about too much because of the name, and I don't really know. Like, do you feel like that blush is really all that special? I mean, it looks beautiful, and I do like me a good blush, so if you feel like I should really have that in my collection, let me know, because I do kind of want to try it. You know, it's one of those things that's just like so hyped about and so talked about that I feel like
I'm missing out, and I feel like I want to be part of the cool people, you know, the people who have the Norris Orgasm blush.
Is it worth it? The next blush I want to mention is the Luminoso by Milani, and not just this one, but just their baked blushes in general. I had no idea why I have not yet tried that blush formula because that seems to be right up my alley, because that one is more of like a satin finished blush, isn't it? I feel like it is. I think that's kind of what it looks like on other people, and the fact that it is baked makes it a little bit more shiny. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know, because I do want to really try that blush, and I don't know why every time I'm at the drugstore, which is not very often, which is probably why I have not yet seen these. So I need to go to a store that actually has Milani, and then I can go and take a look. But for me, drugstore shopping just doesn't really make me excited for some reason, and I don't really ever end up picking up anything from the drugstore unless I make an order from Ulta. And if I do, I'm like only looking for that particular item, you know what I mean? Like, I rarely go to Target or Walmart or anything like that and just like walk down the drugstore aisle because I don't know, there's just something about the drugstore makeup that just the feel of it, the experience just doesn't excite me as much as going into a Sephora. I hope I'm not the only one. It's not because I'm like stuck up and I don't want to use drugstore products, but for me, I want the experience of buying makeup if I'm going to go into a store to be part of the product that I end up purchasing. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really appreciate the joy of actually going to a store and seeing things and swatching things, and I like to be in an environment where I feel happy, and I just don't feel that way at Target. Well, I do at Target, but only if I'm looking for other things, you know, not makeup. And the last blush formula that I've yet to try is from Tarte. I don't know if it's because of their
Amazonian clay, I don't know what their name of these stupid bronzers and blushes are, but
there's something about them that makes me very intrigued, and I don't know if it's the formula because it has Amazonian clay in it that I'm like intrigued, because that just sounds really cool and fun. I'm sure that's exactly what they're going for, and they want people to get suckered in by the
Amazonian clay hype.
But I do really want to try them, and a lot of them look really, really beautiful. I will say that their blush books, like, you know, the round palettes that they come out with for the holidays and stuff that has plenty of blushes in them, those look so pretty. And I really don't know why I have yet to pick up one of those, because those would be so me, and I really do want them, but I also never really want to pick up like 10 blushes at once. That just seems a little bit excessive, which is probably why I've yet to pick one of those up. But I do want to try out Tarte's blushes, so let me know if you've tried any of Tarte's blushes, which one is your favorite, because I really do want to pick one up and try it out. And the next thing on my list is actually something that I have coming in the mail right now, and this is Wet n Wild eyeshadows. I have not tried the Wet n Wild eyeshadow formula because their eyeshadows just haven't really spoken to me, and you guys know how picky I am with my eyeshadow palettes. I don't just go out and buy something because it's cheap because I want to try it. If the color story does not excite me and inspire me, I'm just not going to pick it up. Whereas with a lipstick or something like that, it's so much easier to be like, oh, I'll probably use that at some point. But with an eyeshadow palette that only has brown mattes, I'm like, yes, that shimmery green might be really pretty, but I know personally that I'm not going to pull out that palette if it only has brown mattes. So I did pick up one of their new, I don't remember what that collection was called, but it was one of their quads. And I also have heard that that formula was not the same as their normal formula, so that kind of makes me sad. But I do have a big Wet n Wild order coming, and I'm pretty much going to do a full face of Wet n Wild, and I'm really excited because I haven't tried that many products from them. So it'll be fun to do a huge first impression kind of video, which is not something that I really ever do, like one brand. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. The only highlighters I have on my list is from Anastasia. I've heard so many good things about their glow kits. Is that what they're called? Like, you know, the big highlighting palettes. They look beautiful, and I really don't know why I have not pulled the trigger on those. I think it's because I have one highlighting palette that has colored highlights that I really like, so I haven't really felt the need to have another one. But I've kind of gotten more into those again recently, and I bought one from Lime Crime that I absolutely love, so I am at some point interested in picking up one of her palettes, but I don't know why I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I guess it's because they're expensive, and I don't know, I want to try them. I really do want to try them. I feel like I would really like them. The next item is probably a little bit controversial, but this is the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I've never owned a contour palette until just recently, and I just haven't really had any reason to buy it. You know, it's just one of those items that I don't really gravitate towards, that don't excite me. I don't see that in store and be like,
oh my god, I need that.
Like, for me, something needs to be colorful or glittery or sparkly for me to really have a strong reaction to something. Like, I just don't get excited about powders that much, you know? Unless it's eyeshadows, which I guess are also technically powders, but you know what I mean. Like, those kind of palettes, just face palettes and stuff, just don't really get to me that much. So I don't know, I'm probably never going to pick it up, but I have heard really good things, and I know it used to be like all the rage a couple of years ago before Kat Von D pretty much killed her brand. Next up on my list is something that I'm for sure going to buy, and I don't know what is holding me back and why I have not bought this yet, but this is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder. I've said this so many times, I really want to try this powder, but every time I go to my grocery store and they have the makeup aisle, Maybelline never has the loose powder there, so I just haven't, like I said, I just don't really go to the drugstore that much, so I haven't been around it yet, and every time I order from Ulta, which is not really that often, I just forget because it's like not really on my radar because I'm already looking for something else. So I feel like I need to make a wish list on my phone because that is just something I never do. I feel like everyone else has wish lists, but I just don't. So I need to maybe start doing that and then write that down on my list, and then next time I go into a store, I will actually look at the list and get the stuff that I actually want and not just like wander and get random shit that I didn't plan on getting. Does anyone else do that? So I have a couple of more things on my list, and next up is a foundation, or it's not really a foundation, it's a BB cream or CC cream, and this is by IT Cosmetics. I think it's a CC cream, right? It's the one that everybody talks about that's pretty much like amazing, and I've yet to try that because for me a CC cream is just not really a foundation. Because I'm pretty much a full coverage girl all year round. I just don't really stray from that because that is what I like and I think it looks good on me. And so for me, that foundation is just a little bit out of my comfort zone, so I just haven't tried it, even though every time I see people put it on, it looks to be very full coverage and it looks really nice. The finish looks awesome, and so I don't know, I'm intrigued. Like, is this, if you are into full coverage foundations, have you tried this foundation? And if so, did you like it? And I do have oily skin, so just keep that in mind. I could see this being more for someone with drier skin. I don't really know. So speaking of foundations, I actually want to throw in a short little Octoly review here because I don't really want to make a separate video on these, and I want to tell you why. So this is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid collection, and I have the foundation and the concealer, and I also have the powder. So I did try the film of this last week, and the foundation is really just like too light for me. And I was going to do a wear test in that video, but I had the biggest pimple on my nose, and in the middle of the day it hurt so bad. That I literally had to pop it, and I had to take my makeup off of my nose, and it looked ridiculous after, and I just did not want to like reapply and fuss with this. Plus this was just too light and it did not look good on me, so I'm just going to throw in a quick review on this here. So this is a natural finish foundation, and I thought the finish of it was really, really nice. It's not as full coverage as I like though in the foundation, and to me this felt more like a CC or BB cream, or what I would imagine those to be like. Like I said, I've yet to try one, but the consistency of this makes me think of mixing my moisturizer in with my foundation, and that's kind of what the texture is, and I did not really like that, but I could see a lot of people loving this because it actually did have a really nice finish and it did have decent coverage. So if you're looking for a medium coverage, more of like a CC cream type foundation, I think you would like this. As for the concealer, this has very much the same kind of texture, and I'm actually wearing it today and I think it looks okay. It's not as full coverage again as I would like, but I am probably going to keep using this because it's quite nice. This is, however, a little bit light for me, so I'm gonna have to use that before the summer so it's not too late. And the powder, honestly, I love this. I think this is amazing. I love the texture of it. I love the finish of it. I love how matte it keeps me. I like everything about this powder, so I'm really happy that I was sent this through Octoly. So thank you so much to Revlon for wanting to send me these products to try out. I really do appreciate it. So let's get back into my list now. And I want to tell you about the only brow product that I feel like has been very overhyped and that a lot of people use that I have yet to try, and this is the Benefit Goof Proof. I really want to try this pencil, but what's keeping me back from it is because it's even more expensive than the Anastasia one, and it has less product in it. So I really don't care how good this freaking pencil is because it just does not seem worth the money for me. And I've also found a new favorite lately, and this is by CoverGirl, and this is their, I don't even know what this is called. It's the Ultra Fine Brow Pencil, and I have mine in soft brown. It's what I've been wearing pretty much every day lately. I will say though that I go through these pretty quickly, so I would say one probably lasts me like 3 weeks or so, but I mean, that's fine. It's really, really cheap, and in the long run, I'm definitely saving money buying this over buying the Anastasia one, which was the one that I was using before. So if you have to try the CoverGirl one and you've been thinking about it, I think you might really like this. Speaking of Benefit, I have also not tried their Hoola bronzer. I've also not tried any of their box blushes, and I want to try all of them. But what's keeping me from doing so is because I bought one of their blush palettes, I think it was last year, and it absolutely sucked. It was so bad. The bronzer in it was like pretty patchy and didn't have a lot of pigment to it, and the blushes, it took so long to build up any kind of pigment, and when I did, it would just fade on me in 2 hours. And a lot of people said that the formula in the blush palettes are different from the ones in the boxes, so let me know if you have tried both and if that's correct, because if it is, I would like to really try one of their singles because I've heard so many good things about both their bronzers and their blushes. So, you know, I'm open to trying them, but I need someone to confirm to me that these two items are actually different formulas, because otherwise there is no way I'm going near those. The only powder on my list is the Hourglass Veil Setting Powder, and this one is pretty new, but I've still not heard anyone say anything bad about this powder, and I think even Mel Thompson really likes this, so if she likes the powder, it's probably a pretty good powder. So I am interested in trying this, but again, it's just so expensive, especially when I can get something like this for like $5. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like spending a lot of money on powders, but if that powder is
incredible,
and the best thing that you ever tried your whole life, let me know. Maybe at some point I will pick it up, but it's not going to be anywhere near the top on my wish list, and yeah, it'll probably be a while until I actually pull the trigger on that one. And the last thing on my list is something that everyone's gonna be like,
what, really?
But I have not tried a MAC bullet lipstick before, and this is something that needs to change. I have said that I want to get more into bullet lipsticks lately, and I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job with this. Now, I'm wearing a liquid today, obviously, as you can tell, but I really have been trying to get into bullet lipsticks, and I have bought some lately, and I really like a lot of the ones that I have, so maybe it's time to go to MAC and actually pick out a bullet lipstick for myself. Let me know what is your favorite MAC bullet lipstick formula, because I know they have so many different ones. I am personally more into like the creamier formulas on bullet lipsticks. I don't really like the matte ones, and I also don't like the sheer, like the blotted lips. I'm not about that. So yeah, those were all the items on my list. Let me know if you have tried all of these. Have you tried any of these? Is there anyone that I have not tried that I really need to try? Let me know, because I'm open to trying all of these, so, or at least most of them. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.